Hello friends, I am Dr. Lokesh Desai, and in the previous videos we have discussed one sample t-test, independent sample t-test and paired sample t-test. Now in this video we are going to discuss non-parametric test, and the first test we are going to discuss is run test. So we'll discuss how to compute run test in SPSS. First, let us understand what is the purpose of run test. This test is non-parametric test. It means data is not required for normal distribution. It is used to examine the randomness in the observations. The test is also used to check whether a sample is randomly selected from a target population or not. So we are going to discuss the run test for a dichotomous variable in dataset. What are the assumptions of run test? Observations should be independent of each other. Data should be divided into two categories or groups. Data must be arranged in a sequence or order. The sample should be randomly selected from the population. There should be a sufficient number of observations in both groups. Now, what are the steps in SPSS to execute run test? First, you are required to make a data entry in SPSS according to the survey data or the problem statement, developing null and alternative hypothesis, selecting the variables for a randomness testing, running the procedure in SPSS to examine the sequence pattern, observing the number of runs, Z value and significance p value in the output, taking decision based on p value, interpreting the output to determine whether the sequence is random or not, reporting the final results with test statistics and conclusion. So what is the problem or question which we are going to discuss? Using the dataset graduates.sav, examine whether the male and female students are randomly distributed in the observed sequence of 90 students. Apply an appropriate statistical technique at a 5% level of significance to determine whether the sequence of a male and female students in the dataset follows a random pattern or not. So we open the file graduates.sav SPSS datasheet. This is SPSS datasheet in which this is a variable view in which gender is a required variable for which we are required to examine whether the male and female categories are randomly distributed or not. So this is a nominal scale or categorical invariable where 1 and 2 stands for male and female respectively. So now we are going to execute the run test in SPSS. And what are the null and alternative hypotheses in this case? The null hypothesis H node, the sequence of male and female observations is random, whereas alternative hypothesis H1, the sequence of male and female observations is not random. And now we are going to execute this in SPSS. This is our data sheet. Go for analyze non-parametric test because run test is a non-parametric in nature, so we have to go non-parametric test, then legacy dialog, and this is a run test. So you have to select this run test. This dialog box opens. Select gender, transfer it into the test variable list, and the software is asking what is the cut point which you are using, median, mean, custom or mode. So because gender is a dichotomous variable, so by default will select the median. So the software use the median to categorize entire observations in two halves. And now you press OK and the result will be coming. So now this is a result. So we make a interpretation of this result. So this is various steps. For binary variables, the median based run test is preferred because it automatically divides the data into two natural categories without requiring a user defined value. So in this particular column, you are not required to define any value, just select the median and go for this particular test. Now, what is the interpretation? The first one is the total numbers of observations in the sample is 90 and the number of runs is 41. What is the run? A run is a sequence of similar observations that occurs consecutively before the category changes. Say for example, if in our data set the three male categories continuously appears, male, male and male is one run. So it means the three consecutive categories of a gender male belonging to a one specific run, and when it changes to the female, a new run added or the new run starts. Now, what is the interpretation of these runs? In our data set 90 students, the number of run is 41. You can see in the results the number of runs 41, which means the sequence of male and female observations changed 41 times in the data. This shows how often the pattern switches from a male to female category or female to the male category in the observed sequence. Now, this run test is based on the Z distribution. So the Z value is minus 0.993 and the significance value p value is 0.321. Since this p-value is greater than 0.05 at 5% level of significance, hence the null hypothesis is accepted. Therefore, it can be concluded that the male and female students are randomly distributed in the observed dataset. So that is the conclusion of the run test. So I hope all you understood the purpose of the run test and how it is executed with the help of SPSS software. So thank you for watching this video and kindly subscribe the channel for the next videos in this series. Thank you so much.